last night to a sheep that had a very swelled up face and head. The ears were swollen, the cheeks, the eyes. We were going all day, got in late after doing some calls. When we were feeding, we saw her. She was kind of standing off to herself, not eating as good as the rest of them were. So things that start going through your head, you see a sheep that's got some swelling on their face. You know, if it's bottle jaw, it'll be more under the chin, under the neck area, kind of right there under the bony part of the chin. It wasn't just swollen there, it was swollen all over the muzzle, the ears. So bottle jaw, you usually associate with parasites. This didn't look like a parasite bottle jaw type issue. Got her caught up, got a closer look at her. Looks like a allergic type response. So the best we can tell, she either got into a hornet's nest, she's up in the woods grazing under some trees, hornets got after her, or possibly a snake bite. We looked all over, can't find any kind of puncture wounds, any kind of whelps. Got her up, gave her some anti-inflammatory medicine, some medicine to kind of counteract the swelling. And looking at her later on this evening, so we did that all this morning. Looking at her this evening, the swelling has gone down a little bit, but I'm going to show you a close-up picture over here in just a minute. She's still pretty swollen. So this is a big improvement from last night and this morning. She can hold her eyes open more. Hello, you're in the way. But as you can tell, right over the top of her eyeballs is swollen. Even looking at her, so her legs has no swelling in it, but even looking at her rear end, there's kind of like a bruising going on back there. So you will see sometimes with snake bites a vasculitis. She's outside of the window of it being like a poisonous type snake bite. This is what a normal face should look like. Under the jaw, no swelling, no puffiness. Hello. When you see a group of livestock, group of sheep, goats, cows, they're all up grazing, and you got one that's either off to itself or laying down, always check on them, because there's a sign there's something probably a little off, something not quite right. In her case, she just doesn't feel good. She's got that swollen face. She still has an appetite. She wants to graze, but you can tell something's just not quite going right for her. All right, so one of the things that might actually cause the photosensitivity type reaction that we're seeing on her head with her face and the swelling and stuff that we're seeing, some of the plants that could be toxic that can do that is St. John's wort, buckwheat, what they call spring parsley, bishop's weed. Some clovers and brassicas can do it too. Typically, if you see a plant that's got like a little yellow flower or a purple or white flower, the flowers on a lot of plants can actually cause some photosensitivity type reactions as well. So I'm out here, we're walking through the pasture, kind of going to see if there's something that's growing more prevalent this year that hasn't grown in previous years. We did spray for weeds in the back pasture, but this pasture that she is in has not been sprayed. We didn't get to spray it last year, so we're just going to kind of walk it and see if we see anything that is possibly one of those toxic plants. So for those of you that are kind of like I am, you see a plant, you see a weed, they all look pretty much the same. There is a app or you can go to Google and go to the Google images, do an image search, take a picture of a plant if you don't know what it is, scan that picture in Google, and it will search and tell you exactly what that plant is, what that weed is. We found quite a bit of this little yellow flower. Put it in the little Google search. I mean, our field's covered in this right here. It calls it field clover. Never heard of field clover. I think of clover as being the little thing with the 3 leaves. But this is a different type of clover apparently. Its genus species name was hop trefoil. Never heard of it. I've seen it in a lot of pastures this year. It's popped up. I don't know if it's because we've had more rain than normal or what it is, but since it has that little yellow flower on it, those flowering plants like that do tend to cause more photosensitivity type reactions. So that does have to stay as a high contender on the list. We have also had a few ewes in a separate pasture that have had some really bright red skin this year, almost like a sunburn. And this is one common weed that we are seeing in multiple pastures. So the pasture that the little ewe with the swollen face is in, it's in it, but it's also in these other pastures. So we're going to keep that on the list of possibilities. I'm seeing several weeds. We've taken pictures of some weeds that I don't really know what they are, put it in a little Google search, none of which have been to one that has caused a known photosensitivity reaction. So we're still looking, walking around. We've got a little perilla mint coming in already. We'll have to get out here and spray that. That does cause some toxicities, mostly breathing issues, respiratory issues. Can cause a little GI upset as well, none of which is her symptoms. So we're going to continue searching. Her swelling has gotten significantly better. She's eating better. Her eyes are being held open better. Some of the differentials other than photosensitivity, and a big reason I went with photosensitivity is because it did affect the pink parts, the pink skin. So her rear end, her muzzle, around her eyes, and that is one of the telltales of a photosensitivity type reaction, just like getting a sunburn. You know, your palest skin, your palest people are going to get sunburned easiest. So if they eat or ingest a plant that increases the sensitivity to their skin, they're going to get sunburned easier. So if they eat that plant, they're exposed to the sun, they're out here grazing, they tend to be more affected by the sun than ones that haven't eaten that plant. Sheep are kind of a selective grazer, so some of them have a preference for different flavored weeds, different flavored grasses. That's why we rotationally graze, to kind of force them to eat a little bit of everything. She may have kind of developed a taste, more or less, for one of those weeds that can cause photosensitivity. Same thing goes for some of the sheep we have in those other pastures. They may have preferred the taste for that flowering type plant. So some of the differentials or things to be thinking about when you've got a sheep that has a swollen face, swollen ears, and really pink, almost sunburned, blistered, irritated genitals and mucosa facial region. You'll see parasites cause the swelling on the chin, not usually the whole head. You will see viral diseases, some things like blue tongue. You can see clostridial disease, something called big head that sheep get. It's usually rams that get that from headbutting each other. The trauma from headbutting will actually cause a bacterial type infection, Clostridium, to affect the tissues around the face and head. That one doesn't typically affect the opposite end. It doesn't affect the genitals. So I don't think it's that. Plus, she really wasn't running any kind of fever when we found her last night. So I did give her a antibiotic to head off any kind of secondary infection. I gave her some steroids to get the swelling to go down, and it has helped. She has over the last 12 hours, that swelling has decreased by about 50%, and she feels good. That's the other thing. A lot of times when they are sick, they have one of those viral or infectious disease causes of the swelling. They feel bad. They don't really want to graze. They just lay around. Well, she was laying down, but she continued to want to graze. She continued eating. So that's what's making me lean a little bit more towards a photosensitivity type reaction and or hypersensitivity to something such as ants or hornets, bees, wasps, something that is stinging. We do have hornets and bees and stuff that live in the ground. So if she's nosing around out there grazing, comes across some, grazes around a stump that may have a hornet's nest down in it, that they come out, swarm her, bite her, sting her, cause that reaction. Snake bite being the other thing. As swollen as she was, we may not be able to see punctures from fangs, from teeth. So she did get a little heavy cellulitis as a result. So hopefully that's going to be something that's resolving in the next couple days. So I'm going to continue looking for weeds. Right now, the only thing I am seeing is these little yellow buttercup type weeds and that field clover type weed. So we're going to keep looking though and see if we see anything else. Swelling's gone down quite a bit already. This is 24 hours later. Her ears are less puffy. They were swelled up and real tight. Her eyelids are less puffy. Her nose is less swollen. More than likely it was some sort of insect hypersensitivity or possibly snake bite, but I bet it's more of an insect hypersensitivity. Swelling has gotten better over the last 24 hours. Still a little puffy around her eyes. The muzzle's better. And the side of the face, the swelling, all that's gotten much better. Your face looks better. All right, guys, so today we are basically 48 hours from when her face originally swelled up. We're gonna go with, it was an insect bite type hypersensitivity. Could have still been a little photosensitization, but from a plant or toxin of some sort, but usually they're gonna be more like sunburned looking. They're gonna have more crusty lesions around the mouth and nose area, and the ears possibly. So since the swelling went down with a little steroids for the win, it's still a little puffy, but 80-90% better than what it was originally. So yeah, just wanted to share this video with you. Things happen. Sometimes you can't completely explain them, but in this case, all in all, a good outcome. So thank y'all for watching. Like and subscribe down below, and stay tuned for more content like this.